So this is going to be a quick rundown on how you can use Kreska.art to create your color wheel. If you choose to use another program, that is fine. Just keep in mind that you're going to still need to be able to turn in the layers if asked. All right. So I'm going to click on Start Painting. Now, if you've been to Kreska.art before, it saves what you were working on before. So you can see that this is my color wheel example that I showed you guys. And you can see that I've got the 2 layers. It's not a lot of layers because I did a drawing layer and a coloring layer, but that lets me know that I was the one that made that. All right. So if I'm going to be saving this as something that I want to be able to edit later or see the files, I'm going to click Save Layers as a .psd file. You can do a Kreska file, but a .psd can be opened in multiple programs, not just Kreska, so that's why I like to choose that one. I have already saved this, so I am just going to click New Drawing, and I am going to pick one of the sizes. I'm just going to go with a large square. It will ask you if you want to move on, and I'm going to say yes because I've already saved. And now I have my canvas. With this canvas, you have a lot of different options on how you want to go forward. If you want to do it sort of like my example that I just showed you, you can use the guides. So up here, there are guides, and for your color wheel, I suggest you use the 12. And what's nice about the guides is it mirrors whatever you draw. So like, let's say I want to just kind of wing it like this, I can, all right? Because that makes it so that like this would be my outline and then I could go in and color. However, if I don't want it to mirror, but I still want to know kind of where everything is, what I can do instead is I can add a reference. All right, now, hopefully you went and downloaded this. It's on your assignment. If you didn't, you can decide how big you want it to be. But once you're done, I'm just going to X out of that. It will have this here. And what it's going to do, it will most likely put the reference up in front of everything, which I actually am not a huge fan of that. So instead, I am going to just click that. And what that does is it moves it from either in front of everything or behind everything. And so now I can start drawing. So I think for mine, I was going to do like a donut shape. And so what I could do is I could trace, I could freehand it. What you could also do is, once I click one of these, my reference is going to go away. So I'll have to bring it back. But I could do it where if I'm having trouble with drawing a perfect circle, I could do it like this, where it will kind of aid me in my quest. That's not a great circle. I think the more guides I have, the little bit easier it will be to make my circle. But I'm kind of making like a donut shape there. So there's my circle. And then I can get rid of those guides and I can bring my reference back. So, boop. And so as you can see, it kind of just made my circle a little more opaque, little less black, and that is because it's in front. So if I come down here to my reference, oh, it's zooming out. Okay, I don't want to zoom out. I'm just going to click this button right here, and that just pushes it to the back. Now, you can zoom in or out. If you're using a touch screen, you can use like the 2-finger method to kind of swipe it. I am not currently using a touch screen. I'm using my keyboard and mouse. And so if I want to go from side to side, I have to hold the space bar, and then I can click and move it like that. That's just a little trick there. But now that I have my circle in, I am going to go in, and there's a lot of different paintbrushes that you can use. I'm just kind of starting with your standard circle paintbrush, and over here is where you change the size. So if I wanted to make my line really thick, I could do that, or I could do thinner. But so I am now making my donut shape, and I realized I forgot to do a circle for the donut hole. But that's okay, because what I'm going to try to do is I think I'm going to try this lasso tool out. I'm going to select my circle here. All right, and I am going to move it. Oh, never mind. I wanted to make a copy. So I'm going to make my selection. Alrighty. And then I'm going to make a copy. I need my toolkit. because what I want to do is I want to change the scale of it. So that means that I need to hold the Z while I'm doing this. So I'm holding the Z and I'm just kind of dragging it in. And yes, it's making the line a lot skinnier, but I can always go back in and trace that line again. I just was going to have a hard time getting the exact same circle. So there we go. I've got my donut shape in, and I can go back in and trace over that if I want to, or maybe I want to make it, you know, maybe I want to make it a cream filling, and so there's going to be bumps and lumps, but there we go. There's my donut. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to give me like the frosting. So I have to go in and I'm just kind of want to make it so that like the frosting, it looks kind of thicker. So I might go in like this and make it stick out. And then I can go in with the eraser and erase this line. So you've got lots of options with this. What you don't want to do though is go too far into and then have to go back, because this Kreska only has so many undo options before it forgets things. Oh, and I just did color pick. I don't want to color pick. Okay. All right. Go back. So I want to do, so on mine, I want kind of like a drizzle of frosting. That's going to be my intensity colors. So I'm going to add another layer so that I don't mess up that layer. So I'm just going to go in because I need to make sure that this drizzle hits like every single section. So it's going to have to be a big one. So what I'm going to do, oh, that's really big. It is pressure sensitive. It does change size with the pressure. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to just kind of start in one, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle back and forth, add a little bit, like another line on the outside, so that it becomes a thickness, like an actual like line that I can color inside of. And then what's nice is I can now go inside and erase what shouldn't be there, because I have that like the donut part is on a different layer. It's not going to affect that layer. All right. And then I decided for mine, I was going to have sprinkles. So I'm going to do that on another new layer. And so I need plenty of sprinkles here. And if I wanted to, I could copy and paste a bunch of times. Or if at this point I wanted to, if I don't want to sit here and draw like a bunch of sprinkles, what I can do instead is, because I'm kind of done with that reference. I didn't have a whole lot that I needed the reference for. I will be bringing it back though, so that I can see like where the different colors are. So I do need it for that. But I think I'm going to drop this in here, because then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like use this to draw my sprinkles. Ooh. Because it'll draw multiples for me, and I can then go in and erase to make it look a little bit more random. All right, and then I can also go back in, and so on my line where my sprinkles, I don't want them to be see-through, I can go in and erase my drizzle line. So I need to go back in with my reference again. So once again, I'm going to add that reference in. Boop. Alrighty. And remember, if it does this, I need to just go down to the reference and click the front back, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a whole new layer and I am going to color. So we're going to talk about how to do the color for this. So I am going to actually put my color layer below all these other layers, because I like when the black lines kind of act as like an outline. If you don't want to do that, that is just fine, but it is now on its own layer, so I'm not going to be messing up anything else. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to start with just one color. So I'm just going to start with my red spots. So I'm going to pick a spot, and I said that I was going to have the frosting be red, and that's really small. I need to go bigger. All right, so, I went outside of my spot there. That's okay, I can color over it later. What I like about the digital painting is that I can color on top of another color, and unlike with like colored pencil or paint or something, it'll just cover it right on up, because I haven't messed with the opacity of anything. So if I wanted it to be more see-through, I would mess with this one right here, but I don't want mine to be see-through. Maybe when I go in and do some like shading and stuff, I can do that. So I've got my main hue, my primary color, and now I said I want to have some hues or some values. So I can go in here and I'm gonna make some of my sprinkles, different values. I think I'm actually gonna make that one like that, okay. And then for intensity, instead of starting up here and going up or down, I'm kind of gonna go to the angle there. So I'm gonna do that intensity right there. I'm going to point out a couple of things here as I'm working. One of the big things that I like to do is I like to do my primaries and my secondaries first. That way I can go in and do the tertiaries afterwards. And the other thing is, if you'll notice over here, this color wheel is our RGB color wheel. Okay, this is not our typical red, yellow, blue primary colors color wheel. So there are some colors on here that there's like a pink on here, and then, or your magenta, if you will. And then you'll notice like the green is a lot bigger than the yellow, and that is just fine because you can always kind of go in and finagle. It doesn't have to be on this particular color wheel. It doesn't have to be perfectly evenly split. And so that is up to you what it's going to be. Remember, we are making this color wheel so that we kind of get the color wheel idea for when we move on to our physical painting. But with the digital painting, it is working with a different kind of color wheel. And we talked about that in class, how that is because of the whole using light versus how your eye perceives things and all that jazz. So just keep that in mind as you're working. If you're like, I can't get just the right green all the way up here in the corner. Okay, that's fine. If you're looking for more of like a leaf green, you might have to go with a slightly different value there. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you're working. So I've made it all the way around my donut here, and now I can start putting in those tertiary colors. Yes, it's a little messy, but I'm gonna go in and fix that up later. So I need to find a red orange that is between these two. So I'm gonna actually give myself a red to start with. So I'm gonna click that little eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click that because that tells me like the end that I need to start on. And then I'm gonna slowly work my way over until I think I've got one that looks different enough without going into those oranges, because it doesn't matter if it's more reddish or more orangish. You just want one that's different between the two. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to see how that looks. That's not bad. I think that works. So I'm just going to color. And now here's where I want to be a little bit more careful. Unless if you want, I'm going to show you a cool little thing that we can do here once I've got this in. I can go in and do this blending option, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna kind of blend what's going on here, so it'll be like a little smooth gradient between them. All right, so that's one thing that you can do to kind of, those lines just will not erase. So I'm gonna finish up in this. I'm gonna go in and add the donut, maybe add some highlights and whatnot, and then that one's done. So if I want to save it, just as in, so I'm going to turn it in, I would click Save Image. But let's say it's the end of class. Once again, I would do Save Layers as PSD file. That way I can keep on working on it later.